WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Good morning, everybody. This is Mikhail. Trying to do the best we can to get the information to you. We are located at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan, between Ryan and DeQuinta. And we're there to service you from 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday. And you can reach us at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-3438. You can also reach us at our old number, 313-366-DIET. And you want to contact me directly, you can at 313-600-8532. Now, mind you, when you call me, a lot of times I'm on the phone talking to a client, but I will call you either that day. If it's too late, I'll call you the next day. All right. Well, my prayers go out to Jesse Brown and his family, because their 91-year-old mother made a transition, and they having a homecoming ceremony today. I'm not at liberty to get that information out, even though they put it on Facebook and things. I just wanted to send my prayers and condolences to the family. There's a beautiful sister, always smiling, always joyful, always just got a happy demeanor about herself, just one of the loving mothers of the community, and just can't help but love her dearly. I've been knowing Jesse Brown since I got into this business in the 80s, and not too long after that, I met his mother. So just, beautiful sister and beautiful family. So my heart goes out to them. The second thing is my major engineer, Tim. I just want to send prayers to him to get healthy and strong, and stay healthy and strong. And that's all I can say about that. I just want to say some prayers and ask you to pray for Tim to get healthier and stronger, okay, which is God's plan for all of us, to be healthy and strong. That's why he put these different foods down here that promote healing in our bodies, so that we can be healthy and strong our whole life, okay? And a lot of it is the mindset, I find, because it's interesting. The people that come to us with cancer, those that got the fighting spirit, when the doctor tell them you got 6 months to live, 2 years to live, like Wayne Roland, who developed the Civil Water program, they told him he had 2 years to live. He lived over 42 years, okay, because he had that fighting spirit, and he did with the things that his higher self told him to do. He developed the Civil Water, found out that cancer can't stand silver, and a whole lot, I mean hundreds and hundreds of diseases can't stand silver. And he just made it small enough that we could take 8 ounces of it at a day, okay, to kill the causes of just so many different diseases based on, his research and the results that we have been gotten from folks for the past 30 years. I always tell folks, if you're going to wear that mask, that's one thing that Fauci said that there was the truth back in February 2020, is that the mask don't work because the virus is so small, it goes right through the mask. And when you constantly breathing in your own carbon dioxide, you weaken your immune system. And that's where the virus likes to grow, right there in your nasal passages and in your lungs. So if you're going to wear the mask, at least spray it with the silver water and spray up your nose, okay, and breathe it in deeply. I've demonstrated here several times how to do that. But it's 2 times up each nostril. And Wayne taught us that all cold starts in the eyes. So we spray the eyes, blink real fast, and you spray the eyes. And then you just let it absorb into the skin. And what I've been doing lately is spray 2 times, breathe it in deeply. And then I close one nasal passage and breathe it in deeper, and then close the other nasal passages and breathe it in deeper. Okay. I do that once or twice a day. I have done as many as 10 times, once every hour if I was having some challenge for breathing, mucus buildup, because this doctor, we read this book, forget the name of it right now, but it came out in 1920. He said all diseases is caused by mucus. But when you spray up your nose, you end up sometimes blowing your nose or even spitting out this mucus, which is key. And it's just one of the things that Wayne has shared with us, that the silver water kills pathogens, which is the parasites, the fungus, the bacteria, the viruses, mold, yeast, because all those pathogens have one thing in common, it's that they one cell, which is a foreign substance in the body. And when you kill that substance, which is what the silver water does, then your body's set up by God to be healthy. You just put into your body the nourishments that it needs so they can have the tools to operate to be healthy. Okay, our goal is to be 100% healthy. So it's just a little tidbit. Oh, and the food grade hydrogen peroxide. This local doctor cured 107 people of COVID last March with food grade hydrogen peroxide. Okay, he put it in a nebulizer. Basically, it's like 1 ounce to a gallon, 1 ounce of the 35% to a gallon of water. And he put it into the nebulizer, had people breathing it in. And the hydrogen peroxide, which is oxygen, which is also in the silver water, was killing the virus, and he cured these people. Okay, 107 of them. Put it on his website. Of course, the government made him take it off because he didn't do a double-blind study. Well, his mindset was these people had COVID. They would have died if he'd have did a double-blind study. Okay, so he just took it off the website, but through the word of mouth, we got the information, and we shared with folks. People put it in their humidifiers at the offices, and it killed the germs in the air. Okay, this brother came to us last week, was telling us how they have this air purifier and that they took out in space, and it not only purified the air, it made it where you could grow plants, okay, in space. NASA had this machine, and this company, I guess, got the patent rights or something like that, and they making it, and it would kill the viruses in the air in like 3 minutes or something like that. I said, bro, we've been doing that for over a year now, okay, with the food grade hydrogen peroxide in the humidifier, okay. So but there's, you got choices out there, So that's what I wanted to share with you. This is a study about quercetin. 2 new studies showed quercetins improved the COVID outcome. I was reading this article. They was talking about now this drug that they making it hard to get now is that hydroxychloroquine. I think that's how you pronounce it. They was 600 doctors came to Washington D.C. last year, and they was using this hydroxychloroquine. And excuse me for messing up, killing that word, but they was using that along with zinc and vitamin C, okay, and they was getting great results. There's one lady, African doctor, matter of fact, she boasted how she cured 350 people, didn't lose nobody, and nobody in her staff, okay. So now they make that hydrochloroquine extremely difficult to get, but we have quercetin, okay, and that's QUERCETIN, okay. I don't have it on display because I had some for myself, and I used them all up, and then some came into the office, and I just shared it with the customers. In the next order, I get me some, but I've been taking it all alone. And in this study, it talks about how zinc and lecithin, especially the sunflower lecithin, helps with the absorption of the quercetin, and how the quercetin helps to fight off respiratory conditions, and these conditions that we are exposed to all the time. And so want to kind of get into some of these parts of this study. It's technical, but hopefully we can get some points that I know technical for me, may not be for you, but it was for me. But it was very interesting. 2 recent published studies confirm quercetin is useful as an adjunctive therapy in the early outpatient treatment of mild SARS-CoV-2 infections. Okay. In one study, COVID patients who received quercetin in addition to anesthesia and antibiotic cleared the virus faster than those who only received anesthesia and antibiotics. And a greater number of patients report reduced symptoms, okay, from quercetin. In the second study, daily quercetin supplementation for 1 month reduced the frequency and length of hospitalization, the need for non-invasive oxygen therapy, intensive care, and even deaths. Quercetin did, based on this study. Quercetin has antiviral, anti-blood clotting, and anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, all of which are important in the treatment of SARS-CoV-2 infections. Quercetin also inhibits binding of specific spike proteins to your ACE2 receptors, thereby blocking the virus' ability to infect your cells. It's been shown to directly neutralize vital proteins that are critical in the replication of the SARS-CoV-2. Now, that is so important because the people who got the virus, I mean we call it the shot, the vaccine. One of the things he teaches is that it causes spike proteins to grow. And the first thing our folks told us is that you use the dandelion tea that inhibits the spike protein to grow. Now we find that from this report that quercetin also inhibits the binding of specific spike proteins, okay, to your ACE2 receptors, thereby blocking the virus' ability to infect your cells. Okay. To me, that was so powerful. Just some highlights of this article. Of course, you get it from Mercola. Matter of fact, let me download it right now because he's been constantly under attack. So his articles only stay on board like this one for another 40 hours, and he's gonna take it down. Okay, so the MERCOLA.com. Two new studies showing quercetin improves COVID outcomes. Now, a little bit more details. Hope you can hang in there with me. In an August the 21st, 2021 newsletter, Dr. Michael Murray discussed the use of quercetin for respiratory infection symptoms. In November 2020, he suffered a very mild and brief bout of COVID-19, and one of his secret weapons, he believed, might have been quercetin. He also recounted as an anecdote story of a friend who developed suspicious respiratory symptoms. His friend had been taking a number of supplements said to offer protection, but was still feeling awful. As it turned out, the one thing he had not taken was quercetin. And as soon as he did, that same day, his symptoms started to dissipate. This experience, Dr. Murray says, is, quote, is consistent with the results from 2 clinical studies that were frequently published. Quercetin seems to be a safe, far less expensive, and easy to obtain alternative to the hydrochloroquine. And it works by a similar mechanism, driving zinc into your cells to stop viral replications, stop the growth of the diseases. Statistical improvements in clinical outcomes. Okay, getting a little more technical. In the first study, 42 COVID-19 outpatients were divided into 2 groups. One group of 21 patients received standard medical treatment consisting of anesthesia and antibiotics. Okay. Okay. And anywhere. Okay. The other group of 21 patients received standard therapy plus the equivalent of 600 milligrams of quercetin per day, divided into 3 doses for 7 days, followed by another 7-day course of 400 milligrams of quercetin per day, divided into 2 doses. The quercetin used was a brand name formulated with sunflower lecithin. That's what I brought out, because this is what we carry at HealthWise. We go through a lot of the sunflower lecithin because we go through a lot of the sex pills called Confidence. And we always tell the brother, to stimulate to drink the water is what makes a man firm is the blood. And the blood is 95% water. And if you got fresh water, it's easy for it to flow through your body. How much water you drink is based on your body weight. For every 2 pounds you weigh, you should drink 1 ounce of water. The other part is 90% of a man's ejaculation is lecithin. Okay, and 20% of the brain is lecithin. So lecithin is excellent brain food. All right, food for the brain. We're supposed to get lecithin from eggs, but the way they grow the eggs nowadays, it doesn't get a chance to develop the lecithin, and you can tell because when you crack the eggs open, it's a bright yellow. Farm-raised eggs has an orange tint to it. That's the eggs we have at Healthwise. And see, an egg to go from an egg to a chicken takes 14 weeks, and that's a grass-fed chicken. With these growth hormones that these drug pushers are putting into the chicken, they grow from an egg to a full chicken in 4 weeks. So those eggs come out of that chicken is not going to have all the nourishments, okay? And definitely doesn't have the lecithin in it, based on studies we've seen. So we always encourage the brothers to take the lecithin. And people having circulation challenges, high blood pressure, we have this one at Healthwise that have lecithin in it, plus vitamin E and selenium. Okay, so lecithin. Then we found out that lecithin helps with quercetin, the absorbability to be even higher, along with the zinc. Okay, so back to this report. The lecithin, okay, was a brand name, had sunflower lecithin, which has been demonstrated to increase the absorption in the gut by as much as 20 times compared to just pure lecithin formulation. Now, the one we use, we get from Dr. Group. He uses minerals to help with the absorption of the quercetin. So let's say what the best of both worlds was using quercetin from Dr. Group with the trace minerals and the lecithin and the zinc. Yes, now you got your strong powerhouse. Okay. Now, the main outcome being evaluated were the virus's clearances and symptoms. After 1 week of treatment, 16 of the 21 patients in the quercetin group tested negative for COVID, okay, and 12 reported that all symptoms had diminished. The 21 people, 16 said symptoms had decreased, and 12 of the 21, no symptoms at all. In the standard care group, only 2 tested negative, 4 had partially improved. By the end of week 2, the 5 remaining patients in the quercetin group tested negative. In the standard care group, 17 of the 19 remaining patients tested negative, and 1 had died. See, that's why this local doctor didn't want to do the double-blind studies, because people end up dying, okay? Doing a double-blind study is to prove a point. Okay, that, to me, that person who died could still be here if he'd have been taking quercetin based on the other group. As noted by the authors, quercetin supplementation, so God bless his soul, he sacrificed for the team. As noted by the authors, quercetin supplementation statistically shortens the timing of molecular test conversions from positive to negative. It reduces at the same time symptoms severely and negatively predictors of COVID-19. That's a quote from the study. These results are impressive, and hopefully additional studies will be conducted on the hospitalized patients to see how quercetin might be helpful in more severe cases, Dr. Murray wrote in his newsletter. They don't put this kind of stuff on the news. You get this on WHPR, you get this from Healthwise, and hopefully you will share with other folks. Quercetin. Because this other study, quercetin reduces hospitalization and deaths. This is another study. The second study, a prospective randomized controlled and open label trial gave 152 COVID-19 outpatients a daily dose of 1,000 milligrams of quercetin for 30 days to evaluate the adjunctive effects in the treatment of early symptoms and the prevention of severe infections, according to the authors. Quote, the results reveal a reduction in frequency and length of hospitalization, in need of non-invasive oxygen therapy, and progression to intensive care units, and a number of deaths. So they didn't have to hook people up to the oxygen machine. They didn't have to stay in the hospital as long. They didn't have to go into intensive care with just 1,000 milligrams of quercetin, based on this study. The results also confirmed the very high safety profile of quercetin and suggest possible anti-fatigue and pro-appetite properties. Okay, then he gave this quercetin with lecithin in it. It's a safe agent and in combination with standard care when used in early stages of viral infection, could aid in improving the early symptoms and help in preventing the severity of COVID-19 diseases. It is suggested that a double-blind, placebo-controlled study would be urgently carried out to confirm the results of this study. See, they just took 152 people and started giving them 1,000 milligrams of quercetin for 30 days. They didn't do the double-blind study where people end up dying to prove go one for the team. But all of them improved based on this study. Or I should say all. They noticed that they didn't have to go to intensive care. They didn't have to stay in the hospital as long, okay? And the deaths was not there. All right, quercetin, that's a bad boy right there. Quercetin. We have it at HealthWise. Now, the mechanism of action, as noted in the first study above, quercetin was chosen based on the fact that it has antiviral, anti-blood clotting, and anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, all of which are important in the treatment of COVID-19 infections or SARS-CoV-2 infections. In the second study, more detailed mechanisms of action are reviewed. According to the authors, SARS-CoV-2 proteins, okay, then they give you a list of different kinds of proteins, are considered possible targets for developing effective anti-COVID-19 drugs. Recently, molecular docking studies have suggested the possible binding interaction of quercetin with these proteins. Some recent results obtained by biophysical techniques appear to support the results of the molecular docking studies. Quercetin, a flavonoid not naturally present in human body, is the most abundant polyphenoid in fruits and vegetables, and is widely used as a dietary supplement to boost the immune system and promote a healthy lifestyle. Now, Dr. Guntley got this olive oil that is extremely source of polyphenols. Okay, so that's, again, a food source. Quercetin is characterized by three critical properties: antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and immune modulatory. The combination of these actions allow quercetin to be a potential candidate to support all unhealthy conditions where oxidative stress, inflammation, and immunity are involved. That's their quote. Initially, quercetin gained attention as a potent treatment against SARS-CoV-2 infection because it's a zinc ionopone, meaning it helps with the absorption of zinc, which has been well known antiviral effects. That's the zinc, okay, into your cells, just like the drug, the hydrochlorophene. Quercetin is highly available. The hydrochlorophene, they making it extremely difficult. Now, here's a quote from Dr. Michael Murray. In particular, quercetin exerts significant inhibitions of the binding of specific spike proteins to the ACE and 2 receptors, thereby blocking the ability of the virus to infect human cells. Quercetin has been shown to directly neutralize vital proteins that are critical in the replication of SARS-CoV-2. Okay. That's a quote from Dr. Michael Murray. Some propose the primary reason the hydrochlorophene and quercetin worked was because of this feature. Of course, you also had to take zinc along with either of them to effectively act as a zinc ionopone. The quercetin also need vitamin C. And that's what these doctors, the 600 doctors that came to D.C. last year, that's what they was using and was getting great results. Since then, other studies, including the two we view here, have shown quercetin has other actions that make it useful against SARS-CoV-2, as well as reported by Dr. Murray in his newsletter. Quote, in particular, quercetin exerts significant inhibitions on the binding of specific spike proteins ACE2 receptors, thereby blocking the abilities of the virus to infect human cells. Quercetin has also been shown to directly neutralize vital proteins that are critical in the replication of the SARS-CoV-2, the virus. Critical, okay. In some studies, quercetin has also been shown to inhibit the release of inflammatory ketonites, which could help alleviate infective-related symptoms and suppress excessive respiratory response from occurring. Its antioxidant properties effects may also prevent tissue damage caused by scavenging free radicals, thereby aiding in the recovery process of vital infections. So you got Dr. McCody got backup on this one here. Now, quercetin, antiviral properties. Quercetin antiviral properties has been attributed to three main mechanisms of action. One, inhibiting the virus' ability to affect cells. Two, inhibiting replication of already affected cells. And three, reducing effective cells' resistance to treatment from antiviral medications. For example, research founded by the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, published in 2008, found it lowers your risk of viral illnesses such as the flu and boosts mental performance following extreme physical stress, which might otherwise undermine your immune function and render you more receptive to infections. Now, you get into an example about some cyclists, bicycles, who received a daily doses 1,000 milligrams of quercetin in combination with vitamin C, which enhances the absorption, and vitamin B to improve absorption for 5 weeks, while significantly less likely to contract a viral illness after bicycling 3 hours a day for 3 consecutive days, compared to untreated control. While 40% of the placebo do, but 45% of the placebo group got sick, only 5% of the treatment group did. It's a study they did. I don't know how many bicyclists, but they had. But it just improving their strength, as they call it. Enhancing your immune system was subject to you not getting sick. Quercetin worked against many common viruses. Before the COVID-19 pandemic struck, several studies had highlighted quercetin's ability to prevent and treat the common cold and seasonal flu. And he lists about 10 different studies. But articulating oxidative damage, it also lowers your risk of secondary bacterial infections, which actually the primary cause of flu-related deaths. Importantly, quercetin increased the mitochondria biogenesis in skeletal muscles, which suggests part of its antiviral effects are due to enhanced mitochondria antiviral signaling. Quercetin also works against other viruses, as demonstrated in the following study. In 1985, a study found quercetin inhibits the infectivity and replication of herpes complex virus, a protovirus type 1, the parainfluenza virus type 3, and respiratory virus. In 2016, animal study found quercetin inhibit mouse Diu virus and herpes virus in the mice. Other studies have confirmed quercetin's power to inhibit both hepatitis B and C infections. Wow. A March 2020 study found quercetin provides comprehensive protection against Staphylococcus pneumoniae infections, both in the test tube and outside the test tube, primarily by neutralizing the pneumonia of the PLY. One of the toxin released from the released from this other disease, okay, and that inhibits the disease to blossom in the first place. Staphylococcus pneumoniae is responsible not only for pneumonia, but can also be involved in some ear and sinus infections, meningitis, and certain blood infections, as reported by the authors of this study. The results indicate that quercetin significantly reduces the PLY-induced activity the cytotoxicity versus repressing the formation of itomonomers. In addition, treatment with quercetin can also reduce the premeditated cell injury, improve the survival rate of mice infected with lethal doses of pneumonia, alleviate the pathologies, damage of lung diseases, inhibits the release of the cytostorm, and considering the importance of these events in the antimicrobial resistance, our results indicate that quercetin may be a novel potential drug candidate for the treatment of clinical pneumonia infections. Wow. And they go into another state, how quercetin combats inflammatory and boosts your immune system. Just study after study. Okay. And so the important thing is getting started early. Early treatment protocol using quercetin. One doctor who earlier on in the COVID pandemic brought quercetin into the limelight, okay, was this Dr. VZ, okay, as the hydrochlorine became difficult to obtain because they stopped making it. This Dr. Z switched to recommending quercetins instead, as it is readily available as an over-the-counter supplement. So if you want a downloadable cheat sheet, I'm going to spell his name. You can get his protocol for COVID-19. You can visit. It's V as in Victor, ALDIMIR. That's his first name. Second name is Z, like Zerbo, okay, ELENKOD, MD.com. Spell that one more time. V is in Victor, LADIMIR, Z is in Zero, ELENKO, MD.com. Other health benefits of quercetin. There's also lesser known benefits and use for quercetin, including the prevention and treatment of high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases, obesity, certain kinds of cancer, particularly pneumonia, leukemia, and to a lesser degree breast cancer, non-alcoholic fatty liver tissues diseases, gout, arthritis, mood swings, aluminum-induced neurodegenerative diseases, such as those seen in Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, okay. Longevity, thanks to the benefits clean out damaged and worn out cells. Research has also highlighted quercetin's epigenetic influence and ability to interact with cell signaling pathways, molecular gene expression, influence the activity of transcription factors, and moderate your microRNA. So, the microRNA function as an on-off switch for the genes. Depending on the microRNA input, a single gene can code for any more than 200 protein products. Quercetin's ability to modulate microRNA may also help explain its cytotoxin effects and why it appears to improve cancer survival, at least in the mice. So, quercetin, QUERCETIN, and something that we have at HealthWise, something that Dr. Gruber put together with trace minerals to help with the absorption of it. And here we're talking on this study that zinc and the sunflower lecithin helps with the absorption of the quercetin. These other, vital enzymes, that's one of the toughest vital enzymes to help even break down scar tissue based on studies we've seen. This here, they tried to ban NRC, of course, in the vitamin D. This is just part of a formula that doctors have given me that I share with folks who come into HealthWise dealing with colds, flus, all kind of diseases. So quercetin, I knew it was good. I learned about it from Dr. Dr. McCullough last year. That's how long I've been taking it. And now I'm just getting more studies that just came about. So you can give us a call at 313-366-DIET, or you can give us a call at 586-757-DIET. And we at 3807 East 8 Mile, about 3 blocks west of Ryan, and we're there to service you Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7. Look forward to seeing you soon, and please share the information. Peace and love.